Hello everyone and welcome to Angie Uploaded. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing and tapping that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new cases. Today's case comes from Indianapolis, Indiana, Marion County to be exact. It also comes with a huge trigger warning as it regards a 5-year-old beautiful baby girl, and Vinnie Politan even had a tough time with this one. So you have been warned. If you need to click off, please do so, and I'll see you on the next one. Otherwise, let's get into it. Today, I am sharing the horrific case of Kinsleigh Welty. Kinsleigh was a 5-year-old beautiful girl who unfortunately was born into the wrong family. However, in order to give you the full picture, I must start from the beginning. Tony McClure and Bradley Welty had a baby girl, Kinsleigh, but at that time, there were already 3 other siblings in the household. When Kinsleigh was just 3 weeks old, Tony had a pain so bad that the paramedics had to be called, seemingly a ruptured gallbladder. Bradley was at work at that time and no one was available to care for the 2 children that were in the home at the time of the attack. The police were called and agreed to sit with the children until Bradley or someone else could get there to assist. When the police arrived, they were horrified by the living conditions of not only the home, but the children. They found garbage, food, moldy food, dishes, insects, the works. They also found that both children, 3-week-old Kinsleigh and a 1-year-old, were both in full diapers. The officers were going to change the diapers and feed them, but were unable to find any diapers or wipes in the home. They were also unable to find anything to feed them or a clean bottle to feed Kinsleigh from. DCS was called, and it was found that 3-week-old Kinsleigh was suffering from diaper rash and head rash. Now, head rash was brought on by her head being laid in the same position on something constantly. She was filthy and also had failure to thrive syndrome due to being malnourished. Tony was charged and did 21 days in county jail for 4 counts of neglect and had to take some parenting classes. Kinsleigh stayed with Bradley's parents, the parental grandparents, Tricia and Brian Welty, during this time, who loved and adored Kinsleigh. After Tony completed her requirements, Kinsleigh was given back to her by DCS. Now, during this time, Tony and Bradley separate and she meets Ryan Smith. Now, DCS was actually called out to the house over the next few years for neglect several times. Another instance, Kinsleigh was removed and sent to her parental grandparents' home. They even said that she was covered in bruises when they received her, and clumps of her hair were missing. They wanted to adopt her and thought surely DCS wouldn't return her back to Tony, but they were wrong. Tony fought it and Kinsleigh was returned to the home with Tony. Now this brings us to April 9th of 2024. A call comes in to 911 for an unresponsive child. Paramedics arrive and find Kinsleigh unresponsive. While they are working on her, Tony is telling officers that she had just picked her up from Bradley as she had been staying with him for the last month and a half because he had wanted to spend more time with his daughter. She said that Kinsleigh had been complaining of a headache and her legs were weak, and when they got into the house that Kinsleigh collapsed. The paramedics sensed there was much more to that story, as Kinsleigh also had a huge bruise on her face, and not from falling or hitting herself on anything. She also had bite marks on her stomach, lice, and other insects on her. She was dirty and had fecal matter all over her, and, again, malnourished. At 6:01 p.m., Kinsleigh Welty was pronounced deceased. Her cause of death was severe malnourishment. She actually weighed 21 pounds, which was less than what she weighed when she was 2 years old. They also spoke with Tammy Halsey, Tony's mother, and she said that Bradley had not been in the picture for a while, as he was not in her life and he was on substances. It was also said that DCS had visited that morning, did a check, asked where Kinsleigh was, and they were told that she was with Bradley, and that was that. Now, if the first part of this story was too hard to handle, I urge you to click out now, as it gets much worse. Come to find out, Kinsleigh was in there the whole time. She was in a closet, also known by Tony, Tammy, and Ryan as the cage. This is where Kinsleigh had been during the DCS visit. Apparently, Kinsleigh was kept in this closet all of the time, and there would be Facebook messages to come out between Tammy and Tony to prove that and so much more. After the telephones were seized and the messages were read, they were referring to Kinsleigh as dummy, demon, evil, chunker, and heifer, among others. Now, mind you, these messages span for a couple of years to include this same day of April the 9th. Now, a few of these messages we do have. In one back and forth from May of 2022, McClure allegedly alerted Halsey that Kinsleigh had escaped from the closet. Put something in front so she can't push the door, Halsey allegedly replied. McClure said she had already tried that. Halsey wrote back, "You're going to have to keep her home one weekend just to show her you mean business." "She hates being smacked on her belly, just so you know," McClure responded, to which the reply was, "Oh, I know." Another exchange from May of 2023 began with an image. The girl can be seen crouching near a couch. "Did you not wrap her up?" Halsey wrote. "Yes, I did," said McClure. "She got out." Halsey allegedly offered the following advice. "Damn, do it tighter." In July 2023, McClure allegedly asked Halsey to watch the girl. The grandmother said she was too tired and had to work the next day. Tony says, "Do your duct tape thing. Sleep. I won't ask again." In September 2023, Kinsleigh had damn near escaped from her closet again, her mother complained. The girl's grandmother says, "Tape her ass down." In October of 2023, Tony tells Tammy that Kinsleigh broke the lock on her door and put excrement under the couch. The grandmother advised her own daughter to tie her effing ass up. Also, in October of 2023, Tony asked her mother to watch the girl, saying, "Take one for the freaking team, man," and goes on to enter a laughing emoji. "You do your method and it works. Can't do that here. I'll clean her up first." There seems to be concern in the chat about Child Protective Services. There are messages beginning around January of 2024 explicitly identifying the pair's efforts to keep the children away from welfare agents. One final message was sent on April the 9th, just before Kinsleigh died. Tony wrote, "So I don't have much in my fridge or my cabinets, but DCS is coming out today. Call me on your lunch." Well, let's just say that Grandma Tammy was now implicated all up in this disgusting mess. When originally asked about the closet, which had feces, food, girls' clothing inside, Tony said they used it for her son for his safety when he had seizures. A lie so obvious Ray Charles could see it. So in the end, Tony McClure has been charged with murder, criminal confinement, and neglect. Tammy Halsey, her mother, 2 counts of neglect of a dependent resulting in death, a level 1 felony, 2 counts of neglect of a dependent resulting in seriously bodily injury, a level 3 felony, 1 count of neglect of a dependent resulting in injury, a level 5 felony, 1 count of failing to file a report, a class B misdemeanor. If convicted, she could face between 20 to 40 years in prison. I guess they added all the charges that they could on her. Tony was being slapped with a murder charge. I think that they all should be getting second degree, except for Tony. Ryan Smith received criminal confinement and 3 counts of neglect of a dependent. There is a trial date set for June the 10th of 2025. My thoughts on this is that here is another story where DCS has failed this child. Not only do I blame the parents and Tony's mother, that grandparent, Ryan, Bradley, I blame them all. Bradley's parents loved Kinsleigh, wanted to adopt Kinsleigh. Tony fought. If Tony did not want Kinsleigh, why fight it? She did not torture these other children that she had like she did Kinsleigh. Why Kinsleigh? Why that little girl? They were all neglected to some degree, but Kinsleigh, that baby did not deserve this. And at one point, it is mentioned that she said she just wanted to die. A 5-year-old who says, "I want to die." How do you wrap your mind around that? And here's another one for you. There are people out there that make false child protective service calls and waste resources. Why would you waste resources when they're already limited enough? This is what happens when they just try to check a box on a file and move on to the next case because they don't have enough time. I know that's no excuse, but shame on anyone who makes a false claim to CPS. Shame on you. We'll be following up after the trial date and we'll see where we are. But right now, let's everybody just keep Kinsleigh's other grandparents, her friends, anyone that knew Kinsleigh, that loved Kinsleigh. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And until next time, this is Angie and I have just uploaded. Thank you.